We're running. My sister and I are running because if we stop, they'll catch us. Then it's over. We'll become one of them or we're dead. And that can't happen. Not today. So we continue running. But I am just so weak. And my body's heating up and I'm shaking uncontrollably and I'm sweating all over the place. But more importantly, I'm asking myself, why am I running? Not in the sense that I don't know what I'm running from, I know what I'm running from, but I'm literally asking, why am I running? I can't even stand up. And then it occurs to me, either a miracle has happened at the most appropriate time, or I'm dreaming because I have this really bad urinary tract infection. Now, I've been a paraplegic now for 22 years, and there's just some things that I've learned to expect. And one of those things is, as a paraplegic, I'm more susceptible to getting urinary tract infections. Now, a couple of my savory friends have told me UTIs are quite painful, but I wouldn't know because I can't feel them. Which kind of also lends into this other thing that I've learned to expect, and that is for able-bodied people, like a majority of y'all, the idea of lacking sensation is relatively foreign. For instance, when I returned to school after my accident, several of my homies were like, hey, if I stabbed you in the leg, will you feel it? Yo, first of all, stab me in the leg. Who raised you, the Night Stalker? But I'd be lying to you if I told you that it was the only time in my life that I've ever received that type of question. I have received it in so many different forms, fashions, from different ages, races, genders, but the answer has been, and it'll always be, no, I can't feel it. And again, it applies to UTIs, but I still get symptoms. I get, headaches, and then I have these uncontrollable body shakes, and then I start sweating profusely, and then I become incredibly weak and groggy, and it leads me into this, path where I end up just, passing out, and I enter this otherworldly, dreamlike state that usually correlates with whatever I'm reading or watching on television. And 5 years ago, I'm departing work, and that headache is kicking in, and when I get home, the rest of those symptoms are starting to pick up. And I just make the decision that I need to get to bed. So I do. I jump into bed fully clothed, and I get a bunch of blankets and cover myself, and I fall asleep. And that night, I dream that my sister, my colleagues, and I are at my university where I both work and go to school, and we are being chased by a horde of zombies. Now, this can only correlate with the fact that 5 years ago, The Walking Dead premiered on AMC. And it was a top-rated show on television, and I watched it religiously with my brothers every Sunday. And so much like the show, we are dealing with some legit drama. For instance, we are running, constantly running. We are running through hallways. We are closing doors. And really, we're also dealing with those human elements, right? For instance, trust. Once a shady coworker, always a shady coworker. But we're also losing a lot of people, of my colleagues are also dying. But I wish that rule would have applied to that asshole Jesus who ate all the food we were stockpiling. But really, the whole point of this experience is this element of survival. And there comes this moment in the experience where we have to exit a door. But in order to get to that door, we have to go down a flight of stairs. Now, in this world, that shit ain't happening. I'm not going down those stairs. But lest I remind you, when I dream, I can walk. So when my sister says, we need to go down these stairs, I'm like, let's go down these stairs. So we run down these stairs, and she opens the door, and I run out, and I follow her. But like any good horror flick, she ends up tripping, I end up tripping, and I'm on the ground, and out of nowhere, this zombie grabs my leg and just starts going to town on me. And I'm just like, what is going on now? This is supposed to happen to me. And I'm just totally freaking out. And my sister's standing over my shoulder, and she's like, do you need help? And I'm like, yeah, I need help. So she comes over and she gets this Wonder Woman strength, and she disturbs this zombie that's finished his lunch, picks him up and throws him behind the door and closes it. And she comes back over to me, and I'm lying on the ground completely distraught. And after a moment of silence and comforting me, she asked me, Adrian, when the zombie bit you in the leg, did you feel it? And I looked my sister in the eyes, and I'm like, Angela, no, I didn't feel it, Angela. I've only been a paraplegic my mean? And I'm just totally mad that she's asked this really dumb question. And I don't know if it's because she's asked this question or because I've just been mauled by a zombie, that I wake up and I'm back in my room and I'm still covered with blankets. It's completely dark. And I have tears in my eyes. And I'm asking myself, like, why am I thinking this shit? Like, why do I think I can walk? But more importantly, I'm like, in so many ways, wow, my mind is playing a really mean joke on me. And I end up falling back asleep and continuing on with this experience with no real conclusion that I can remember. But I'm sure you're asking, well, why do you remember this part? Well, let me tell you. Because when I woke up in the morning, I needed to take a shower because I was sticky from sweating all night. And I undressed myself, but I noticed that my left foot is the color blurple. Now, if you've seen Pit My Ride, you would know that blurple is a good mixture of blue and purple. And it is ombre into this bright red on my shin. And my foot looks massive, so I freak. And I get myself to the emergency room, and it's there that the emergency room doctor tells me that not only do I have a urinary tract infection, but I also have a very serious skin infection, and we have to keep you overnight to monitor you. Now, although I'm happy I wasn't bitten by anything, it must have been a long night for the doctor, because you know what he asked me? Did you feel it? And I'm like, no, I didn't feel it. Thank you.